Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. Today I'm talking to a very interesting person, Gary Kehoe, owner of Rollercoaster Records, the happiest little record shop ever in Kilkenny, Ireland. And we're here to speak about music and just a ton of subjects. He's a great man. Gary, how are you?
Oh, thanks very much, Logan. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, thank you for
Brilliant.
helping.
Brilliant to hear that, Gary. And then for those who don't know you or what Rollercoaster Records is, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, roller coasters in Kilkenny City for the last 34 years, in one guise or another. And I suppose really, it's it was Willie Main, the late Willie Main, who passed away in 2017, who made this place, set up the label, um, was responsible for a lot of great things coming to Kilkenny in terms of gigs, and he was a tireless promoter of music. A great man. We miss him very much. And yeah, so myself and Dave Holland tried to continue, and yeah, we're doing our best.
That's brilliant.
Hard
And
to
look, sorry.
hard to replace Willie. Impossible.
Yeah, I'd say so. And with the records in the shop, you can definitely see that with it's actually a beautiful shop setup. If anybody's been there, you'll know what I'm talking about. And as well, something that's really cool about Rollercoaster Records is the very eclectic mix of records that you can get everything there. So I must ask Gary, what type of music did you grow up with, or what kinds of music?
I suppose the initial thing for me was growing up as kind of punk stuff. And then I had a, I loved all 60s stuff. I was, with the music I was kind of growing up with, the Jam and things like that, and Joy Division. I also was like deeply into the Beatles, the Stones. Weirdly enough, Nick Drake was one of the early things I got into.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got into all that island records from '67 to '75, all that great music, and that brought me down. I suppose things like kind of world music pats, and I got into Brazilian music and just everything. It was just like endless. But it was like harder work then because you had to really dig.
Mm.
You had to read a lot, and it wasn't instant access, but which is good.
Yeah.
Good, instant access is great, and but it's also good to discover things on your own, as I know you do. So
Yeah, that's brilliant. And hearing Nick Drake, I actually only recently listened to Pink Moon by Nick Drake, and I found it such an incredible album. Like it's just
beautiful
really
records. Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
It's
He's just
beautiful. It's one of
really
those records that I'm looking out for now. Really great album. And I must ask then, where you're obviously a ma massive fan of music. So where did your journey begin regarding getting involved with Rollercoaster Records to become a record shop owner yourself?
um well, essentially as a customer, because this was my place to go to. I lived in Waterford, and I would make my weekly pilgrimage here, and yeah, buying endless amounts of records, and coming out of the shop with things I didn't really know I wanted, but Willie and Dave sort of made sure I took them with me. Um, and then I would have been coming to the Kilkenny Arts Festival and Kilkenny Roots Festival, and a lot of gigs that Willie would have been putting on. Um, and he sort of, and kind of to expand the kind of the touring area, Willie asked me and a friend of mine in Waterford to start putting on gigs in Waterford. So we started doing that about 11 years ago. Um, and then I just became increasingly more involved in the shop, started working here. And yeah, it's just a complete accident. But
It's
um,
brilliant.
yeah,
And there's, sorry?
it's just one of those. I still kind of come in here every morning and go, what am I doing here? So it's just absolute accident of fate, really.
And it's a fantastic accent as well, because there's a lot of stuff happening with Rollercoaster Records in the past and coming up in the future, which we're going to get to in a sec. But just looking back on the past, you've had some really cool people play here and some interesting people come here. But regarding people playing here, you've had bands like the Murder Capital and Curb Dog who have come a long way in the last little while, especially the Murder Capital. I believe they were opening for Pearl Jam only recently.
Right, yeah.
So for you watching these bands playing in the shop or just playing in general, how have you seen them grow?
Well, it's funny because I'll just give you an example. I think there's a really, really good relationship with artists we've built up over the years. And, there's a lot more people, it's not just the shop. There's people like John Clear, Arthur Ryan, Eddie Langton, Willie Byrne, Carol Ryan, who were involved in sort of the festivals in Kilkenny. Like, for example, Calexico played one of their first European dates here as part of the festival it's probably 24 years ago. And they came back in the last few years, and they're like a huge band who play to 3 to 5,000 people in Europe, and I'm not sure of their presence in America, but they're a big band. But they came back and played our festival to 400 people because they liked the place and they liked the people and they had very fond memories. So it's interesting to see that people who get really big still come back to us. When it's not really probably financially advantageous to them, but they just want to kind of give things back. And we feel like with our own label, it's great to see, bands like Arborist who are really starting to make, a name for themselves, and who true consistently good work. One of the records we have out at the moment is an ambient pedal steel record by a guy called David Murphy, and that's doing really well at the moment. With no PR budget, very little distribution. It's just word of mouth and I'm pushing it hard. It's got played on BBC Radio 6, BBC Radio 3. There's some very good support from RT. And that's the real, for me, that's the, like seeing a really great artist like David getting due recognition. So that's really the payoff in terms of
really cool.
that work, So, and that's just one example I can think of off the top of my head. I feel like, for example, you recently reviewed a band by a record by The Breeze.
Yeah.
And we have a long association with Stevie and from The Breeze, and it's great to see him doing great things. Nice review as well, by the way.
Oh, thank you. The Breeze are a great band, and that album was just very interesting to hear, because it was funny. It came with these, as I mentioned, I think in the review, these little lovely prints for anybody who didn't see the album review. They came with these lovely sketches of different people, and it was funny. It was Tom Waits, Bob Dylan, J.J. Cale, and Leonard Cohen, and I'd just done a review of Tom Waits and J.J. Cale. So listen to The Breeze. It was really cool, and I like blues music. So just a brilliant, brilliant album, and that's coming up a lot now. Where
the artist is one of the singers in the band. The guitar player is Chris Cole. He's a fantastic artist, really nice guy as well.
He's incredible, and he's a really nice guy. He sent me a tour sheet as well, which was cool. And I didn't get to see them playing in Rollercoaster Records, but they are really, really great.
Oh, well, you can come down the next time. We'll make sure you're there.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Gary. But also regarding interesting people, over the years, because Rollercoaster Records was not always called that, it was also top 20, so it's got a lot of history. And you've had some very interesting people, including Dave Grohl, come to the shop. And many others, like really cool people coming to buy records and just being music fans, which is really cool to see. So what kind of people have you seen come into the shop, whether you were working there or you just heard about it through stories?
So recently, Jack Knife Lee popped in, and YouTube's producer of everybody, and we had a kind of vague association because he worked with Coughlin, Micro Disney, Phantom
Wow!
Great
Oh wow! Yeah.
Recently he was a great man, and we did some. we did some work with Cottle over the years, and so that was great, and it's great to see, amazing producer, but he's just at heart, a real music fan. It's just great to talk to people like that. Who else has been in recently? We've had, well, I think Niamh Regan played in Store recently. She's got a great record out. Niamh Burry, All the Nieves. It was also a great record out, Clatter Records. And over the Roots Festival, we did, I think we had 4 or 5 in stores, full band in stores. Small Town Jones, Jeffrey Silverstein, Bobby Lee. So, yeah, I love doing those and get to meet those people, because they're great. And finding out, like, the great players with their music fans essentially as well, just like us, so.
Well, that's what I like about Rollercoaster Records. The more like down to earth, everyone's a music fan. That when you have people like Niamh Burry, Niamh Regan, Dave Grohl, and people like that just coming into a record shop to be fellow music fans, that's just really cool, especially when they're getting a lot of acclaim. It's just nice to see that as well. And we were mentioning there earlier about some other bands that have played here and records are being put out by the label. It's still being continued, which is fantastic to see. With Rollercoaster Records label, you've got some really cool bands. We mentioned Arborist, The Breeze, and many, many more really cool bands. So could you tell us, how did it start in the beginning?
Well, again, it's back to Willie, and so Stevie from The Breeze had a band called Melosion, and Willie just really wanted to get their second record out. So he just went and did it. He was one of those guys, and there's an interesting history to that. In that record was produced by Steve Albini.
Oh, wow.
His studio in Chicago, yeah. I'll get it. Can you hold one second? I'll show you the record.
Oh, of course. Yep, definitely.
It's the record, This Is Nowhere, and I think this might be the last copy in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, small. We could only ever do small runs, so I think it was like a run of 500.
Oh, wow, okay. So very, very small run then.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really, really cool and great to see. I was only reading a bit about Steve Albini because I am not very good with producers and stuff. But I was reading about Steve Albini, and I believe this is a call, The Life and Times of Dave Grohl, and he's a great guy, Steve Albini. But that's really cool, doing the Melogen album. So yeah, I just think that's so interesting, Willie just starting the record label.
Yeah, I think it was just a conversation between Willie and Stevie, and Willie had a think and just went, I'll do it. So that's basically how the label started, and I think we're on our 19th record now. So,
oh my God, wow.
So yeah. There's a record coming out by a singer-songwriter called John Hegarty later in the next couple of months, and
oh, brilliant.
It's a really beautiful record, and so yeah, I think that'll be the 19th one, yeah.
Oh wow, I'll make sure to check that out.
Oh yeah, we'll get you
pop in and buy the record.
We'll get you a copy. And but I think we're talking September. I'm not 100% sure. It's just a few moving parts to it. But it's ready to go, and yeah, I'll talk to John in the next couple of weeks, and we'll figure that out.
Oh, brilliant. We'll make sure to check that out, guys, about John Hegarty. Again, Rollercoaster Records, the website will be down below where you can order vinyl. Really, really cool. And moving on from Rollercoaster Records, which is a great shop. Make sure to check out the website. You also are involved with Kilkenny Arts Festival, which happened earlier this year, and that's going to be hopefully happening next year, I believe. And
next year will be the 27th.
Wow. So
27th.
Pretty cool. I think a lot of people are excited for that. So definitely keep your eye open for when that comes around next year. But upcoming is Kilkenny Arts. And before we began the interview, we were speaking a bit about who are playing there, including there's the Kit, Niamh Regan, and many, many more. And this is actually its 50th year anniversary, I believe. Nearly 50 years now.
51.
Oh, okay. So 50th year was last year.
Yeah,
Okay,
last year. Yeah.
Well,
So
even self.
this is the program for this year,
Oh, really cool.
and yeah, there's some amazing people in this, and amazing artistic director and producer Olga and Margie. They put incredible. They bring it's incredible what they bring to Kilkenny. It's just yeah,
It's really cool.
amazing.
And yeah, so definitely the list of all the people who will be playing, if you want to
Yeah.
check it out, will be below in the YouTube description, guys, if you want to check that out, or Spotify, wherever you're listening. But could you tell us a little bit about Kilkenny Arts Festival for those who are interested in perhaps going?
Well, for our purposes, we're kind of more, so there's a huge theater or classical music element to it. But for our purposes, I suppose we're talking about contemporary music. Um, so the whole town is, the whole city is used as, like almost every venue in the city, like the cathedrals, theaters, even, so one of the highlights for me would be an Icelandic composer called Johan Johannesson. Um, in the cathedral, a piece called Drone Mass, which it's absolutely an amazing piece of music, absolutely worth checking out. So that will be the Irish premiere of that.
Wow.
That's very exciting. This is the kid who we've done a lot of work with over the years. We're playing in the cathedrals again. Just saw them recently in Dublin at the Lankham curated festival, and they were fantastic.
Oh, wow.
They're just off to play Glastonbury last 2 weeks ago, I think.
Brilliant.
They're an incredible band. Richard Dawson, I don't know if you know Richard Dawson.
I wouldn't know much of his music,
Yeah,
though.
English singer songwriter. He's like, yeah, he's one of my favorite artists. He's playing the Set Theatre on Saturday the 17th. He's absolutely worth checking out.
Wow.
Got Lisa O'Neill is here. Um, Rosie Plain, who's also the bass player in This and the Kitten, has a parallel solo career. Again, one of my favorite artists. She's playing in Clears Theatre. Rosie is incredible. Niamh Regan, who just released an album a couple of weeks ago.
Brilliant.
That's a great record. She's playing the Set Theatre. And I think I mentioned David Murphy earlier. David Murphy's playing actually 2 shows in Clears Theatre. And that's going to be like the first time the full band will play. And that'll be accompanied by visuals. And so that'll be a special night. That's really, really glad to see that happening. And yeah, I'm excited about that. And there's lots of other things, poetry and talks. And yeah, it's endless. It's a great place to come for, even just for a wander,
It's,
in
yeah.
those dates in August. It's just really, it's incredible who you find on who comes into the shop or in the street. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
It sounds beautiful. It really, really does. I hope I'm able to make my way down for a bit of it. Really cool though, with everywhere, and especially where you're playing in like cathedrals and everything. That'll
Yeah,
be excellent. That like the
yeah,
different, just even sound palettes that you'll get there, the different tastes, which is brilliant. With now music has changed so much. It's great to come back to just the creative aspect of just playing music together, which is so cool. So definitely check that out. The 51st Kilkenny Arts Festival. So make sure to check that out if you're interested. So there's a lot of upcoming stuff, Gary, for not only Rollercoaster Records, but for yourself with Kilkenny Arts Festival. Um, you're very busy. But in the shop itself, for you, is there anything upcoming regarding live shows that you'd like to let people know about, or any albums that are just
Um,
come back into
well,
stock?
yeah, there's a bundle of in-stores going to happen later in the year. John Black, great singer-songwriter from Cork, has a really good record coming out in, I think, October. So he's going to be here. I think we're going to have David Kitt with a full band here later in the year. A, oh, a band from Glasgow called Broken Chanter. We're big fans of, are on their way. So looking forward to that gig. That'll be sort of October time. We've got and we've got Seamus Fogarty coming back in around the kind of Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year's. So that'll be a great show. so it's quite a lot of good gigs. Cass McCombs, American singer-songwriter, who I really like. She's going to be here in I think September. So yeah,
Brilliant.
there's a lot of things happening, and we're kind of busy as well, sort of planning for the Roots Festival, Kilkenny Roots 2025. So yeah, there's a lot happening, and yeah,
Always
trying,
on the go.
yeah.
Brilliant. And now I just have two personal questions for you.
Yeah.
Regarding the first one is, as a music fan,
Mhm.
obviously anyone would see that you're massive into music. Just as a fun question, I want to ask, do you play any instruments yourself?
I play guitar very badly. There's one there, which I always keep in the shop for real musicians.
Oh God, don't say that, Gary.
But no, I'm just a dabbler. I'm a dabbler. I always was a dabbler, but yeah, no talent.
Oh,
I think I have decent ears, but I have no talent as a musician. But I do, I have guitars, I have keyboards, but yeah, just I'm a better listener than a player, definitely.
yeah, I'm definitely the same. I'm the
Oh well, you've
same
got
as
time.
you.
I can see your guitars in the back. You've got time. You've got plenty of time to become
Yeah,
great.
I have time. I'm going into secondary school, so I might have a bit less time. But
Yeah,
my dad's bass is there, and I got two guitars, and I just love. It's just really a great way to unwind. But
absolutely. Yeah.
I would not consider myself a great guitar player. I'm more of a guy who listens and just. I'm more of the guy who reacts than makes other people react regarding the guitar. But no, that's cool to hear. And as well, Gary, we spoke a little bit about earlier where you have some recommendations you'd like to share with us. Is that okay if you show us
Yeah.
some records that you're listening to at the moment?
Um, it's probably my favorite record at the moment. This is Ryan Davies and the Roadhouse Band. It's kind of
Wow.
it's he's I think he's North Carolina area, American guy. Really good band. Kind of elements of Pavement. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's great. It's really interesting lyrically and musically. Yeah, very good record. Um, I always go back to this. I listen to this a lot. Sly Stone. There's a right. In fact, there's a right going on.
Oh, cool.
Oh, this is another incredibly good record. Um, this is a guy called Rich Root.
Oh, wow.
It's called Water Still Flows. Newish record in the last couple of weeks. I'm not really sure what it is. Kind of like ambient, jazz, electronica. It's kind of hints of Americana in there as well. He a couple of years, 2 years ago, we had an English singer songwriter who's like based in Nashville. He's a pedal steel player as well, called Spencer Cullum. And this guy was one of the musicians with Spencer, and yeah, he was incredible. But this record just out, really good, really good.
Okay.
Big fan of the Lovely Eggs. Do you know the Lovely
Oh,
Eggs?
wow. I've never heard of them, but just
Yeah, I think this
cool
that
name.
you would like them. It's kind of like edgy, punky.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I'll check them out. I'm
yeah.
gonna try and check out all of these. They sound really cool.
This is a new record by a Belfast band called Ex Magician. The title. It's called Sit Tight. And this is fantastic. It's kind of I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like kind of like psych rock, great kind of power poppy, great songs, great harmonies. Love that. That's
Oh,
really worth checking out. Uh, I think that came out last Friday. I always go back to this crazy Brazilian band, Os Mutantes.
wow, what a name.
So they're late 60s, early 70s. I don't know what it is. It's just fantastic. It's yeah, it's psychedelic rock and kind of Latin kind of grooves and great stuff. I think you'd love that. Um,
I
and
love a lot
oh
of
yeah,
world music.
and this is a band called the Neutrals. Um, they're kind of I think the main guy's originally from Glasgow, but they're San Francisco based, and they put out one of the best singles of the last 5 years. And so I was really interested to hear this record. That's great. It's punky, but it's
Brilliant.
got really great short songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's just that's a really good record. And another interesting one is the Focus on Nature by the Bevis Front.
Oh wow.
So this band have like maybe 30 LPs over the last kind of 20, 30 years.
Wow.
They're always consistently great. Kind of, I don't know what it's kind of early, like Syd Barrett influenced.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I think you'd like them a lot. You should definitely check them out. I think that's really good. And I'm like a big Beatles fan, so that John Lennon reissue that's coming out tomorrow, the Mind Games. I've been listening
Oh
to that quite a
yeah.
bit, yeah, and it just like sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's always like kind of an album that sounds really muddy, but it's this whatever they've done with it, it just sounds amazing. Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to hearing the whole of that tomorrow. So
Yeah, I've been meaning to check out actually Mind Games. That's
mm,
because John Lennon, I actually would know, like I know a good bit of the Beatles,
yeah,
but not as much as a lot of people, but I
mm,
know a little bit. And regarding John Lennon, I only know one of his albums, which is Plastic Ono Band, which I found really, really good. So
it's
I'd
the
love
best.
to listen to Mind Games and just kind of
Yeah,
get into that. And a lot of those Record Store Day reissues are incredible. I picked up, I think it was this year, I believe, Kate Bush's Eat the Music.
oh, you got that. You're one of the lucky
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it for 3 songs it was pretty expensive. Like it
Yes,
was white vinyl, but one side you had
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it wasn't actually vinyl, which was kind of cool. It had a picture on it.
Mm,
But no, there's some great recommendations, Gary. Thank you so much. I
thanks.
hope you guys check those out. I will definitely check them out. They sound excellent. There's a lot of really, really cool bands out there at the moment, and it's just for me the main reason why I'm overstimulated half the time is because I'm trying to explore all this music, you know.
It's
It's
endless. Yeah,
incredible. It's a hard thing to do though.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, definitely I'm going to check those out. I hope you guys do too. Um Gary, thank you so much for joining me. That was my last question regarding recommendations. We spoke about a lot of music today, and it's really cool to. I loved hearing all the stories, and I loved hearing about the Kilkenny Arts Festival. I hope you did too, the listener. Make sure to check out Rollercoaster Records in the description. Gary, thank you so much for joining me. You're the
Thanks.
best.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gary.